Occult Macabre, a phantasmagoric guide to pop culture's dark side. I'm Lee.
And I'm Richie.
And today we bring to you, as voted on by the followers of our various social media, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Yeah, it was either this or Steamboat.
Steamboat.
Or Screamboat. Steamboat Willie, Screamboat Willie. You know.
I know.
But you guys chose this one, surprisingly.
It did. I was surprised. I genuinely was surprised. But I was excited to give this another watch because this was my second watch of this one.
Yeah, same here. We watched this together, 2 years ago, roughly? Like when it first came out? Yeah, just for fun. We were watching this just for fun. And then I was like, well, maybe we will cover it one day. You guys voted for it, so here we are. It's considered one of the worst films ever made. However, I will say that it's fun in a way. There's some fun to it. Right off the top, this movie should not have looked as good as it did.
Oh, it was shot so well.
Yeah.
Like surprisingly well for its budget and all things considered.
Yes.
The reviews.
Yeah. So let's kind of like get into it a little bit before we dive into the movie as it is. So this was filmed in East Sussex, England, and it was made on a 100,000 Great British pound budget. And there's a reason why it got a sequel and why there's an entire fucking film universe after this thing. It made $7.7 million at the box office.
Oh, wow. I had no idea, actually.
Horror is profitable. Horror is one of the genres that has the most turnaround because you can make them super cheap and then they'll get their money back. This was shot in 10 days. 10
days.
Yeah.
You know, I had my qualms with bits and pieces of the acting here and there, but knowing that it was shot in 10 days, I'm not hating on it quite as much at this point.
Yeah. So a lot of people out there, when this got made, they were like, how the fuck does this get made? Even though like it's in the public domain. But I think this was, in my recollection, the movie or the property that started making people pay more attention to what the public domain actually is. Basically, it's like 100 years after a property is created, it enters what is considered the public domain, which means that anybody can use it, upload it, recreate any of that stuff. However, the tie-in with Disney that Winnie the Pooh as a character is, there were a little bit of, not obstacles, but they couldn't bear any similarity to any of the Disney characteristics of these characters, right? So they had to be very subtle with some stuff. Like they couldn't give him just the red t-shirt and no pants. They were like, well, we can give him a red flannel button up with some overalls.
Well, you know, whatever works. The symbology, the symbolism.
Zimbabwe, what?
The symbolism of it is there.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey was actually supposed to be a nationwide one night only event. But because word of mouth spread so far, it got a fucking major worldwide theatrical release.
And you know what? I think it deserved it. I do think that after all is said and done, it did deserve the recognition that it got.
Even if that recognition was overwhelmingly negative, it still fucking deserved it. So let's get into this fucking movie, okay? What I love the most is they disguise their budget really well throughout the movie. There's a couple of scenes where they're showing like black and white, like pencil sketched stuff, like supposed to be the 1926 book stuff. You know, like they're showing Christopher Robin making friends with Owl, Rabbit, Eeyore, Tigger, Piglet, Winnie the Pooh. And it's like, okay, they only show a few of these characters, but it's implied that he has made friends with all these animals. And he has to leave them. Because they explain in the opening that, everybody grows old. Everybody.
He's going to college.
Yeah, he goes, Christopher Robin leaves them and goes to college. And unbeknownst to him, they have no food.
Yeah, he had been sneaking them food from his family's kitchen.
Yeah.
And that was apparently the only way that they knew how to survive.
Yeah, and that's kind of funny because, like, they kind of explain how they leave behind their humanistic qualities and embrace their animalistic instincts because when he leaves, the harshness of winter comes, there's no food, and they all decide that they need to eat one of their own to survive. And the poor bastard that is chosen is Eeyore.
Oh, bother.
Oh, thanks for noticing me. Actually, he probably sat there like, please don't notice me.
Oh, poor baby.
The slow one. He can't run very fast. It's like, oh, God. Poor fucking Eeyore. I really think that I have more sympathy for Eeyore because our cat Otis reminds us of Eeyore.
Oh, we do that to him all the time. We will imitate that voice for him. That is like the designated Otis voice.
Anyway, they eat him and they snap. They basically lose what was left of their humanity for this, and then they develop a hatred towards the human race, and then especially Christopher because he fucking left them. And they're like, we're not speaking ever again. Like, they vowed to not talk. So they also got around having to voice these characters by being like, well, they're just not going to talk because they decided to take a vow of silence.
And that's how you know, like, in the future, you can stick almost anybody in that role, and they'll be able to do it decently well enough.
Yeah. So basically, like 5 years later, it shows like a thing like, well, 5 years later, Christopher is bringing his fiance Mary to the 100 Acre Wood. And this is kind of where you were noticing some shit about her reactions to these things, because they go to these, it's beautiful out there. Let's just set the scene right here. It's beautiful out there. It's a little rainy, or it's going to become rainy. And he's like, oh, I used to play here with these people. I used to play here with I used to play here with I used to play here with my friends, you know, and it's implied that, you know, oh, she's being supportive, but she doesn't fully believe.
Yeah, like it's not quite there. And it's weird because they're walking through, they had to hike through the woods for hours, I think. And they finally start to get to this area. And it's actually like a really cool entrance with all those like twisted sticks and shit that they're just walking through like it's a path. They get through it and just like immediately she's like, we need to leave. We need to turn around right now. And I understand that it was raining, but don't be a bitch, first of all.
There was nothing indicative that there was an issue, though.
No, okay, so, like, from our perspective, what we were seeing as the viewer, we were seeing, you know, the weird blood dripping off one of the canisters and, like, some of the skulls, but they, from their perspective, couldn't see that shit.
No.
So she had no reason to be acting the way she was. Like, she was already scared of being murdered. I mean, they were in the middle of the woods and all nowhere, but, you know, whatever. Semantics.
Yeah, but when they fucking back out of the shot, it looks like a really, like, I don't know how else to describe this. It looks like a really, like, souped up campground.
It does,
with, like,
yes.
A really nice, like, fucking silver bullet trailer and a giant roasting fire in the middle, and these picnic areas, and this really nice house,
this tiny little cabin. Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, he's walking, he's like, oh, we used to play here. This was our home. We used to play here together. And they go inside, and still there's nothing to be afraid of so far, right? They're just walking upstairs and going into this little cabin thing, and then they hear the footsteps because Pooh is very heavy-footed when he walks, and they're just hide.
Oh, it was that thing that I noticed right before that when she picks up that fucking picture. She picks up something. You can't even actually see what it is because they don't show the camera. They just show her looking down on it. And she's like, what? Christopher Robin, isn't that you?
Yeah, and he's sitting there. He's just like,
oh, that's not supposed to look like that. Why does that look like that?
Yeah, why would they do this? And I'm like, bro.
And then you hear the footsteps and like, okay, maybe you saw something vaguely creepy on a piece of paper that might have been you as a kid or whatever. But like, he was looking for his friends. Shouldn't he been excited to have heard footsteps?
Probably so, but I feel like he kind of like took over whatever Mary was feeling in that moment. It was like, oh, I guess I should probably hide too. So they fucking hide. Like he goes under the bed and she goes behind the headboard. And this is what cracks me up. Winnie the Pooh rolls in there, and they don't really show his face yet, but he flops on the bed. And the way he flops down, they wait. Like, dude, they've been there all fucking day. So there's a really cool transition that happens right here. And it's like they show the outer area and then it just nighttime. All of a sudden there's like torches lit and like lighting and shit. And they're fucking sitting there in that room still and he's snoring. But I was cracking up because when he flops on the bed, I was like, bro, what if he just rolls over and starts fucking a honey jar? Because he's like, oh bother. Like, Jesus. That's why I was sitting there. I was like, why didn't watch him go this route? Winnie the Pooh just starts jerking it right there in the fucking bed.
It'd be bad enough if he just ripped ass. Can you imagine the stank?
The stuffing flying out.
Oh my God.
So it's Winnie the Pooh. So
God damn it, I have water in my mouth.
So yeah, that transition takes place, and then they decide, well, you know, we've been here long enough. He's been sleeping for literally hours, and I guess we can sneak out.
Why did they wait so long?
I thought about that too.
I should have kept a tally of every questionable, stupid fucking trope I saw.
I mean,
there were a handful. I wouldn't say it was riddled, but there were a handful. Anyway.
So they go outside and they get ambushed by Piglet and he breaks Mary's neck with a chain. But this, dude, look, I'm going to tell you right now, Mary deserved better than Christopher Robin because that fucking twat waffle pussy did nothing to help her.
Piglet pushed him aside. He maybe at worst sprained his ankle falling to the mud and then was just like, Piglet, no, why are you doing this? The whole time.
Fucking pissing his pants. We used to play together.
And he's just not getting up or trying to help her.
He's fucking choking and you just hear.
And then you just hear this little, and then her neck. Like, it was actually the weakest neck break I've ever heard.
You ever broken a number 2 pencil? That had more snap.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Macho Man Randy Savage snap into a Slim Jim?
Oh, yeah.
That had more snap. And
that had more snap.
It did. Yeah. What I'm saying is like the Slim Jim was made out of piglets and it had more snap. It's fucked up.
And then her head just kind of slowly lolls off to the side and it's no.
Yeah, you just hear dunk on the fucking car hood or whatever the fuck it was on. And then he gets cornered by Piglet and Pooh in this like weird like wooden tree corridor thing. And he's sitting there repeating himself, I never meant to hurt you, I swear. We used to play together. Don't you remember, Pooh, when we used to play together? Me and you and Rabbit and Owl and oh God, Eeyore, which there's a poor fucking wooden tombstone that says Eeyore rip.
Yeah, how did they miss that as well? Because I feel like that was in their line of sight.
That should have been the
goddamn
indicator right there, you know? So after all this happens, they drag him off, and there's like another like cutaway with the pencil drawing where they just drag him into this cave, and it's shown that they drag him into the cave, and the pencil. I'm not going to call it an animation because it's just, I don't know. It looks like they torch Mary because it looks like they throw her in this like pit and
yeah, it was definitely
burn.
A pit. Yeah, I think you're right.
So they cut later on, and it's like a whole different plot to this movie, and there's I don't know. It's these kids like university. I call them kids, but they're younger than me. So like, look, I'm 40. Everybody that's like 20 years younger than me is a kid.
Are we really that old at this point?
Fuck yeah, dude. So we have Maria, Jessica, Alice, Zoe, Laura, and Tina.
Which I'm glad that you know their names because I could not for the life of me hold on to a single one of them.
Look, I'm just reading the casting page. I don't remember this shit.
Let me just point out that these girls all look extremely similar. Like, sure, that one's a blonde, one's a redhead, whatever. They all have like fairly longish hair. They all have extremely similar styles of dressing. And the only way I was able to tell them apart was, oh, that's glasses. Oh, that's nose ring. Like,
oh, that's Instastar.
Yeah, basically.
So they're renting this cabin in the 100 Acre Wood. And can we talk about the fact that when they roll up to this place, they're like, if there is even one bug, I'm fucking leaving. Like, they're being so ungrateful looking about this place, and it's very nice on the outside.
It is beautiful. Like, if I were renting that as an Airbnb, yeah, I'd be good with spending some good money on that. They mentioned there's a pool and everything.
Yeah, and by pool, like, there's an indoor pool and there's like a hot tub and shit. But the reason they're out there is so that the character of Maria can move on from a stalker. She had like a stalker that used to like show up and be in her house, or she's having like nightmares about him being in the house and all this shit, which they get into it a little bit, but then they just like, they drop it almost entirely, right?
For a hot minute, yeah.
Yeah. So this is where it starts getting good. Before they've gotten to this place, they run into this couple that's coming into this gas station that they are stopped at, and then they leave. And you're thinking, oh, well, whatever. That's just some people.
Sure.
They do come back around. Let's start getting into like the meat of this movie, right?
Sure.
So the first kill happened. Well, it's not the first kill, but it's the first like screen death of this array of people.
Sure.
This is the bitch that drops her phone and fucking runs, which I will commend. And you did this. You said the same thing, that they didn't try to put this at nighttime. They shot this like with daylight.
Yes. It's pretty common, especially to like enhance fear of a subject to make sure that shit happens in the dark. Makes complete sense. They absolutely did not shy away from that. This first scene is completely during the day and not even that far from the house. But her dropping the phone mid phone conversation, mid dialing or some shit, dropping the phone at all and then running is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen written into a movie because it literally makes zero goddamn sense.
I think this was written into the movie just to have titty.
Yeah, that's right. He does just rip her shirt off with his fucking big meaty claws.
I thought you were going to say he ripped her shirt off with his bare hands.
God damn it. That was a missed opportunity.
So was this movie. But
speaking of mist, he ends up turning her into mist.
Shit. So, yeah, Winnie the Pooh finds her, tears her bullshit top off, because let's be honest, I think that thing was only being held on by the price tag that was still on it, or the sizing tag, whatever. The washing instructions. Here's the part that I was questioning, right? So, first of all, it's brutal enough that he smashes her head into the side of this wood chipper, like the actual, like, the lip of it.
Yeah, the sharp metal edge.
But then he feeds her to it, and I was like, why didn't he just fucking do that in the first place? He's strong enough to.
Or at least they could have like kept going with the slamming until it partially decapitated her or something.
And the head falls in.
Yeah, exactly. Shit. But the animation of the blood and viscera coming out of the other end of the machine is not great.
No, but I mean, honestly, look, we could bash it all day long, or we could be like, that's impressive for the budget they had.
That's what I was going to follow up with. I will say that. I will give them some credit where credit is due. It was not terrible. I think what I said was, it's not Birdemic bad.
No, I said it's Beardemic bad. God. This movie is an Oscar nominee, contender, Golden Globe award-winning movie compared to Birdemic.
All movies are.
Yeah. Do you guys want to hear us talk about Birdemic eventually? We will do it. So anyway.
I need to see it because I haven't.
I have the trilogy box set. Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, she gets fucking murked by this wood chipper. And then we figure out that Christopher Robin has just been hanging out in this Texas Chainsaw Massacre looking fucking woodshed.
Literally.
Yeah, and the way that Pooh gets his rocks off is that like he fucking beats Christopher Robin with Eeyore's tail like fucking Passion of the Christ. You remember when Jesus got his ass whooped in that movie? Yeah, it was pretty fucking brutal.
Pretty brutal, yeah. Goddamn. I love how he kept a souvenir and then decided to use it as a weapon of revenge.
Oh, yeah.
Great. The gashes that it left on Christopher Robin's back were insane as well.
I would have to think that he pulled the part out where it was nailed into Eeyore's ass and left the nail just hanging in there. That's
exactly what I was picturing.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, wouldn't it be funny if he just stuck it right in his bottom of his spine? But Christopher Robin is like pleading with him at this point, like trying to like draw any bit of humanity out of Pooh that could be left. He's trying to like remind him of how they played together when they were children and, you know, all the good shit. And he has like a couple of flashbacks, but he starts just like gurgling honey from every orifice, and then he does his whipping, and then
bro's got a drooling problem.
I'm telling you, dude, his salivary glands are fucked.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking bad. And then it's like his tears, like he's crying, and then he just wrecks the fucking table that he was looking at like in the mirror, and he beats the shit out of Christopher Robin. And then on top of it, to fucking make it worse,
I forgot.
He fucking just drags Mary's skeletal corpse over and just right in front of him, and he's like, no! And then he turns this fucking shower on, which is just filled with Mary's blood, and he showers Christopher Robin with her blood.
After whipping him with Eeyore's tail, it was brutal. I was like, damn, that is some next level. That sucks, dude.
Right. Oh,
her entrails became her outrails.
Yeah. And then we cut over to Laura. Now, we should point out that when they got to the cabin, they all turned their phones in and they looked right at Laura and they were like, that means you too. No more lounging on Instagram all the time. And I'm sitting here going, yeah, let's see if that fucking works. Because sure as shit, she's in the hot tub by herself.
Taking some selfies.
I love the goof that they had in this movie where she's holding the phone vertically, but then the next shot is literally her holding the phone widescreen and then it's back to vertical again.
You noticed it so fast, and like as you were saying it, my brain was recognizing that, and I was like, oh yeah, shit.
It was fucking hilarious. But she takes these pictures, right? And she zooms in on one. She's like, what the fuck is this? And it's Pooh just around the corner like, oh, bother.
Yeah. Heavy breathing.
I'd like to get in her honey pot.
To her credit, she does get out and like look around, but it's the most half-assed, I don't give a fuck if I'm being spied on look around that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And just gets back in the fucking hot tub.
That's
Oh, that was that flickering light bit though that you really liked.
Yeah, so the way they shot this was pretty cool. Like there's a shot like kind of in the tub with her like above the water just barely, and you can see over the edge of the tub into the back, and it's just dark. There's nothing really lit up, but then all the lights are flickering, and as it's flickering, you notice Winnie the Pooh like trotting closer and closer, and then Piglet just is there also out of nowhere. I didn't even see him.
I think at first it was just Pooh, and then one or two flickers later, there was Piglet just a few steps behind him. So he started creeping up with him.
Dude, she gets fucked up.
Yeah, she does.
Tell him how she dies.
So they kind of like hog tie her and throw her on her belly. And
Piglet hog ties her.
God damn it. That was so unintentional. I'm mad that it was unintentional. He does this and throws her on her belly in like the driveway, and Pooh, who over the past several years has apparently learned how to drive human vehicles, has gotten behind the wheel of the car, which were her keys on her, or do you think them dumb bitches left them in the car?
What do you think?
I think I shouldn't think about it.
They didn't think shit about it when they made this.
But you hear him rev the engine, and she's like bound and gagged, and she's screaming, "Oh no, please, please!"
So just another typical Saturday night for her.
And then the car go vroom. Car came right up to her skull and then slow creeped over it. And you get this whole drawn out scene of her literally screaming bloody murder. Eyeball popping out, blood squirting out, cranium getting crushed.
You can tell it was CG, but it wasn't done overly obviously. Like the big part about it, it's like it looks like the eyeball and a couple parts of her were practical, but her face, you could tell they digitally like stretched and morphed it to where it looks like her face was getting squished under the car.
But it wasn't terribly done, again.
No, it was, all things considered, it was a pretty fucking cool kill.
It was a good kill, and it was fairly smooth. I'm not going to complain about it. I thought it was great. And then you hear Piglet give the little screams of victory. Thanks.
Yeah. And I fucking love that when that happens, they think...
They're like, oh, is that Laura?
You think your friend is a pig?
That was rude. And only two of the girls, I think there was 4 left at this point.
I got fucking lost count,
I know. I think apparently only 2 of them heard it. They run out. They're like looking around, and then they literally walk around the corner, and they're like, 3 girls?
I'm pretty fucking sure, because like Maria and Jessica, like, and Alice are... It's them 3. Remember?
I'm sure at least one of them is completely forgettable. So whatever. 3 girls left. And they walk around this car, and then they like, oh my God, she's dead, Laura. And I'm like, how do you know that's Laura?
Her face is
nothing left. I think all you can see is the tattoo. I'm sure that was the giveaway, but damn.
You know what would have been fucking hilarious? And this is why I need to fucking do shit like this, right? So I pointed out that she had the Joker forehead tattoo on her titty. How fucking hilarious would it have been if they were like, oh my God, and they zoom in on Laura's like head all crushed, and they just like quick shot to damaged.
Oh, that would have been a good way to do that.
Like a comedy relief piece. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So basically what happens after this is the whole pool sequence when Piglet rolls in there, and like that was a pretty cool scene too. Although I will say like the knockout and then the pool swimming, a little dragged out.
I was making some comments about that too. It's a huge trope in horror movies where, you know, someone gets, and actually a lot of movies, I won't even say that that's, you know, strictly a big horror thing, but getting knocked out and then being out for several minutes or even hours, that almost never actually happens for that length of time.
Right.
But that bitch was dead out while her friend was getting maliciously chased with a chain in the fucking, I almost said bathtub, in the pool.
it's a bloodbath tub. So
It is a bloodbath.
Yeah. But she's trying to swim away, and Piglet rolls in there with a sledgehammer and cracks her right across the face with that thing. I'm talking, there's like bone fragment that flies over and just, ugh.
That was a good kill. And I think that might be one of my favorites in the movie.
It's not mine. I have a favorite, but
I have another one that I really liked as well, but it wasn't bad. And a good comment to make here is how they use the water and the camera angle to cover the body blows after the initial skull smash.
Yeah, because they cut over to the friend that's knocked out and trying to like wake up, and it's very like blurry vision, and she passes back out like the fucking wuss that she is.
And the other two girls, I know they get out of the house somehow. Also, mistaking Pooh as one of their friends, walking just a story underneath them.
Oh my
I was like,
God.
They really are some rude bitches. What the fuck?
Didn't they go, I think that's Laura?
Yes.
Or somebody.
Is that Laura? No, it wasn't Laura. Sorry. It was one of the other girls, definitely, but because Laura was already confirmed dead at that point.
Yeah, I was just sitting there thinking to myself, like, God damn, like, what are y'all fucking thinking?
Yeah, no, I don't know what was going through their heads except a sledgehammer
or a tire point. Or so, yeah,
you know,
something.
Whatever.
Yeah, so
we got to tread lightly with these jokes.
Yeah, this is a good year for jokes.
Oh, I'll give you a Michelin star on that one.
Oh, thanks a lot. Appreciate that. Getting tired of this shit. Anyway, so Maria and Jessica follow Pooh so they can rescue Alice, and they find Christopher Robin in the treehouse. And then they find Charlene, who was the girl from the gas station.
Which, outside of maybe her voice, you have almost no way of
Nobody knows. Yeah,
her.
well, you can't because they fucked her face up too.
They talk about how Piglet wants to sniff her.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff right there.
But she's got this gun, right? So she
I forgot about the gun.
So she grabs this fucking gun and she's trying to call Piglet because she's like, he's gonna fucking pay.
Yeah, I guess Maria had the gun because of the stalker, right?
Right.
They don't really talk. There's no illusion and no talk about the gun literally until that moment.
Right. And so she's like, come on, Piglet, get your ass out of here.
Here, piggy.
Hey, piggy. Yeah, he shows up, but only after she fires off the gun at nothing.
Stupid.
It's the only bullet left. Because she tries to shoot him and then she fucking can't. And then Winnie the Pooh shows up and he holds her down while Piglet eats her face. And
what are they doing to her?
I know. Like, they're killing her.
What do you think? You can literally see them. They weren't far away either.
And it was well lit.
Oh my God.
It's Tuesday. What are they doing to her?
It's Tuesday, isn't it?
What are they doing to her? God.
Sorry, we were killing it with the really shitty British impressions throughout the entire film.
So my favorite kill kind of happens here, right? So they actually wind up getting Piglet. Because Pooh is chasing Maria and Jessica, but Alice gets Piglet and fucking ties him up.
Just like they had that girl tied up.
Yeah, and she starts just beating the shit out of him with that hammer.
The sound that it makes when it hits him, that real thick thud, I was like, oh shit. Like,
that fucker just fell over like to the fucking ground. And then Winnie the Pooh shows up and gives her like this is my favorite kill because it reminds me a lot of Halloween.
It does, yeah.
So he picks her up by the throat against this tree and then just slowly like force feeds this machete into her throat, like out the back of her head through the tree. And she's just hanging out.
She's just hanging around.
Yeah, she's just hanging around. At first, I'm not going to lie, the first time I saw this movie and he did that, they weren't showing the knife or the machete like going through the tree or anything. I kept sitting there thinking, bro, you got a deep throat. Jesus.
I knew where you were going with that as you were saying it. God.
Here's where we get to when Maria and Jessica go through the woods and they find that car full of, I love how they're just like, oh, it's these local passerbyers. And I'm like, these are rednecks. If this was the United States, this would have been some fucking backwoods ass shit. And this also is reminiscent to me again of Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers, whenever they have that entire sequence where the townsfolk just run and hunt him down with guns and shit.
And it's also a callback to the gas station worker at the beginning of the film, I believe. He's one of the fellas.
Yeah,
one of the good boys.
But yeah, fucking goddamn. You know what I think is hilarious though? You pointed this out. It actually cracked me the fuck up when they surround Pooh, right? Because the girls are trying to get them to fucking just get in the car and go, but they won't do it.
They wanted to protect the girls. They really did.
Sure, but I get that. But at the same time, it's like, okay, if they're fucking that afraid and there were that many people, maybe you should just go. Because they all surround him. And you were pointing this out. You were like, man, why are they framing these guys like the villains?
The angles and the lighting and the way they were brandishing their weapons and the slow closing in on Pooh Bear, you're just like, oh.
Can we talk about, because they play this here and then they play this at several points in the movie. Can we talk about this fucking goddamn score that was happening?
My flabbers were absolutely gasted. For those of you out there, we're caption people. We watch movies with captions on them because I am a deaf bitch and I really need that to help me understand what's going on in a movie sometimes. But while this soundtrack was playing, this particular track, which, do we have the name of that track?
I don't know. It's just all I know to go on is that smell. Something. These are literally the lyrics.
This place, was that?
Someplace. Something. That smell. They were like, that smell. Something. I really hope that was meant to be like comedic and self-aware, because if it's not, what the fuck?
And it was at points where it's not like it was being like covered up by like action. It was slower, more like tense spots where you're drawn to listening to it. And it's just, I was just like, who the fuck wrote this? Why did they choose this?
The only tracks, right, that I can see that might have been it were Run, Sugar, and 3 minutes, 33 seconds. That song is 3 minutes and 33 seconds too long.
I was about to say, why was that necessary?
Could not tell you.
That was something. That was a treat.
It certainly was music.
It certainly was. Someone did create that.
There's a fucking hilarious shot when this happens, right? He lays waste to these fuckers. But Pooh makes a fist, cracks his knuckles, and he fucking turns around. And I don't know why, but this reminded me of like, it could have been a shot in the movie Ted. Because he turns around and he's like mad big, like hulking big. And it's like comedic looking, right?
The angle on that was like obscene because the way they filmed it made him look ridiculously massive in comparison to the humans.
I think that was the point though, because he was fucking huge. He slaps half of his face off.
That is actually one of my other, that's probably my other like favorite quote kill. I loved that. He just rears back with his big old meaty fist and just shush. Yes, seriously. And just rips this dude's face off to like the bone. And that dude's just like wailing and wobbles his way over to the vehicle with the girls and throws his face up against the window. And it was just, it was good. I enjoyed that one. I thought it looked really good.
And this is like the end of the movie, right? So Christopher Robin comes out of nowhere because he's about to get old girl.
He was going to kill the final girl and we just can't have that.
Yeah, because he kills the one. And he's coming up towards her, and Christopher Robin pins Winnie the Pooh beneath both of these vehicles, like he just charges him. And immediately, Pooh is laid over hood first onto this vehicle. And when we were watching this, the first thought I had was that scene in the movie Signs where Mel Gibson's character gets called to the scene of an accident where his wife is struck by a vehicle and she's pinned beneath a tree and the vehicle is the only thing holding her together. It's really meant to be a very sad moment in that movie. However, in this movie, I was just sitting there like, fuck, man. I was thinking like Christopher Robin gets fucking called out when this happens and the fucking police officer on the scene is there and fucking Christopher Robin. Carol, is this the last time I'm going to speak with my bear?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, he's laid down. And he's trying to carry Maria away. Dude, that fucking bear just turns around and heave-hoes that car away from him like, yeah, no, we ain't done here.
He wiggles his ass right on out of there.
If that would have been a fucking tree hole, they'd have gotten away.
You're right. His fat ass would have been stuck in there, and that would have been the end of the movie.
Right there. Oh, Bubba.
They could start up the second one with someone finding a fat, furry ass just sticking out of a tree trunk.
He eventually gets out of the tree because he hasn't eaten so long that he malnourishes and swiggles his way out.
Some tourists run into him and release him like hexes from Fern Gully out of the tree.
God, and it's not oil, it's just honey and everything. God.
Golden brown honey rain.
I mean, yeah. But he grabs his knife off the ground and then he holds Maria at knife point. And again, Christopher resorts back to being like, oh, remember when we used to play together?
Again, because it didn't work the first 50 fucking times, so maybe this time.
Then we finally get the only line spoken by any of the two creatures. I'm sitting here like any of them. I guess more than one. Yeah, both of them.
All both.
Yeah. So they're fucking. He's sitting there. Oh, I'll stay with you. Just take me. It's me you want. Let her go and take me. Like, why are you doing this? What happened? What happened to you, Pooh? And then you left, and he fucking slits her throat.
And then she spends 3 minutes gurgling to death.
And if that's not bad enough, he fucking leaves, and he's looking back, and Winnie the Pooh is just stabbing her repeatedly in the fucking face.
It's pretty brutal, right through the cranium, and he literally just keeps watching. He's just like, no, for like 30 seconds while he's watching.
And then it cuts to black, and that's the end.
That's it. That was Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Or Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Funny, because holy fuck.
Jesus. It was good, though. I am excited to watch the second one. I heard the budget increase did a lot for the movie. So I'm really excited to see what they were able to do with it.
Yeah, me too. So this movie won. It won all 5 of the Golden Razzie Awards that it was nominated for.
That is beautiful.
Worst picture, worst director, worst screenplay, worst screen couple, worst prequel, remake, ripoff, or sequel.
You know, I really didn't think it was the worst in any of those categories. I genuinely did not think this was the worst movie I'd ever seen.
No, and the thing is it was shot really well, surprisingly, for the budget that it had. And like, hats off to the director of photography for that one. And also, honestly, the only thing that it probably could have done to make it better was the writing. Because I feel like the actors probably could have been capable of delivering better, which they delivered on what they had to work with. But
I didn't think that was terrible either, personally.
No, I've seen worse. But I have heard that the sequel is actually like a vast improvement over this one. And this movie did so fucking well that I know we joked about this a couple episodes ago, but it spawned what was formerly known as the Poohniverse.
Oh my God.
And they changed it to the TCU, the Twisted Childhood Universe, and it shares connections with Bambi the Reckoning, which just came out, which is weird because like that fucking movie's got a 7.0 out of 10 on IMDb, and it's got thousands of ratings on it.
It is very well liked, apparently.
Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare is another one.
Which I hadn't seen anything about that one yet, personally.
Yeah, so they are doing Pinocchio Unstrung, of course, the sequel Blood and Honey 2, but they are all culminating with a crossover movie called Poohniverse Monsters Assemble.
Why can't we use the other thing? Why do we have to continue to call it the Poohniverse?
Because it's funny.
I hate it so much.
Oh, I fucking think it's hilarious.
Can't we just call it the Twisted Childhood Universe?
I mean, we can, but what's the fun in that?
God. It's going to break me every time.
But they're going to be putting characters from Mad Hatter and Sleeping Beauty in this movie and stuff too. Yeah. So I can't wait. I actually would love to see like the whole fucking thing. Like all these movies, I would love to see it. Because like the only ones they have, like I said, the only ones they have so far are the 2 Winnie the Pooh films, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare and Bambi the Reckoning. But again, there are going to be more.
Can I just say also that I really appreciate when stuff like this is able to become a thing where we take something that was, you know, sweet, innocent from our childhood, anything like that, and introduce horror elements to it. I think that adds just an extra level of depth in its potential to get under your skin. I don't know about you, but I have a wealth of fond memories with Winnie the Pooh in particular growing up. And I associate Winnie the Pooh with my mom a lot too. So this was interesting to me. But I'm really excited to see what they did with Bambi. I definitely want to watch Bambi. And I think we both agreed that we wanted to move straight into Blood and Honey 2 as soon as we possibly could.
Yeah, so if you guys out there enjoyed this episode and you actually liked this movie or didn't like this movie and you liked hearing it being ripped apart or praised or what have you, and you want us to talk about the second one, maybe we'll do that maybe, I don't know, next season or after that sometime.
Who knows?
Who knows?
God.
What would you give this out of like 5?
So for me, I have to take the bits that made me laugh in account, as well as like the kills and the horror elements and stuff like that. It's all about the enjoyment of the movie. It doesn't have to be a quote good movie for me to enjoy it. So on my enjoyment level, I would give it a 3, actually. A 3 out of 5.
Not bad.
No, what about you?
Straight down the middle, 2.5.
I considered the 2.5, but I was like, you know what? I laughed too much during this to not give it at least a 3.
That extra 0.5 is probably reserved for the sequel. I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy that one a little more. But
yeah, we probably both will.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, it's right up the middle for me. It didn't suck bad enough to be like, fuck this movie, and it wasn't good enough to be like, oh my God, hell yeah, this movie. But it was enough for me to be like, watch it. Don't not watch it.
This is something I would definitely get super stoned and watch again with friends.
Fuck yeah.
It was great.
For past, present, and future episodes of Cult Macabre, you can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. You can leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. You can leave a rating and leave comments on individual episodes on Spotify. And if you're listening to this episode on our YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to the channel, clicking the bell for notifications for future episodes, leaving a like on the video, or leaving a comment down below. Any engagement helps. If you'd like to follow us on any of our social media platforms, all of that can be found in our Linktree link in the show notes below.
And if you'd like to join us for more of pop culture's dark side, sign the Black Book and join the cult. I'm Lee.
And I'm Richie.
We'll see you next time.